I'm a high school English teacher, and whenever I teach Macbeth, and I can say that because we're not in a theater here, whenever I teach Macbeth, I'm always struck by the fact that as the leadership of the country gets more and more corrupted, the nature of the country and the animals become more and more deranged and corrupted as well. And I thought of how that would go if that happened in real life. This is called "The Earth Was Feverish and Did Shake." That would be the day if, as the Scottish play states, real leaders gone astray have to face how far they've fallen through increasingly deranged displays of pathetic fallacy, ones which plainly say how the world's balance has been displaced, where the king's horses break free of their stables and eat one another on the night of his murder. We'd have an easier time deciding society's path with similarly explicit, hideously misaligned signs of nature appearing alongside a nation's soul during each stage of its downfall. Maybe rabbits will stretch falcons over torture racks they've constructed out of sticks and woven leaf stems, should our figureheads align with vile players using nihilistic hate as their prayer. For now, we can at least begin by opening windows and filling evenings with lamentings and strange screams of death again. Thank you. Always good to do that one when I'm actually near a window. Something I've observed is that if you're pursuing a craft or any kind of skill or trying to learn or pursue anything, and you encounter a lot of failure and rejection and setbacks along the way there, as you come up in that, I think that's a good thing, because several times, both in teaching and in the arts, you meet people who become either so mediocrely successful so quickly that when inevitable failure finds them, they completely fall apart, or people who are of such storied and protected positions that they hear no criticism, and then when one hits, all of a sudden they go apart. So this is about that. The only beings fearing an apocalypse are those who never rebuilt in the aftermath of a prior one. Should you be nervous? That depends on whether you feel connected to the marble faces lining this palatial gallery, trembling under incoming crescendos of percussive artillery, or whether your spirit aligns with insects crawling over a shattered visage, practicing supreme mindfulness in their focus on survival, their colony, and only what's within their control. Unlike the sad spectacle of seeing a sculpted idol go to pieces and compare its suffering to French revolutionary tyranny after facing criticism for the first time since a career's formative years of humble infancy. And the last one deals with the weird thing about teaching and also operating adult spheres is that sometimes I'll see people, I'm like, oh, you're the future version of my students if they don't sort their shit out. And if you don't deal with certain conflicts and divisions, they'll go on forever. And even now, as an adult now, I'm getting actually attuned to the strangeness of the fact that my grandfather and my great aunt lived in 2 condos directly across the street from each other and never spoke. Which, yeah, at the time I was like, now I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. Anyway, so here's about that one. I once thought all wars ended. They had to, inevitably. Never expecting age's revelation of just how eternally stubborn conflict can be. The way unprocessed battles carry on indefinitely, spiritually even, once curled up physical dimensions collapse, as a graveyard of unfinished scenes left hanging. Panting climbers holding hooks they've dug into walls of a tower whose occupants won't open windows until scaling beings learn polite breathing. Or a hilltop fort, where one warrior, halfway up the slope, waist deep in mud and the bodies of their brethren, fires an infinitely loaded Kalashnikov at fortifications, promising they'll lower the gate. Once our warrior lowers their weapon and fixes that attitude, though they won't, so long as the belief persists that ceasefires do nothing but invite insidious critical strikes. So they freeze on, paralyzed tableaus, and static standoffs, each driven relentlessly into their present. Yeah, in the end, credit where credit's due to an English teacher who did citations. The ending of that one is an allusion to the end of Great Gatsby, so they free to go on. So yeah, thank you so much. My name is Paul Edward Costa. You can look me up online anywhere. Thank you. Have a good night.